High performance, what is it and how can you create it? High performance is when you're at your best. It's when everything just clicks into place and you can't put a foot wrong. It's when you're performing to the best of your ability in the moment. It's when you're in flow. It's where you want to be. It's when you're in that meeting and you're making all the points at the right place and the right time, when your points are really hitting home. It's when you're running with the ball and no one can catch you. It's when something really bad happens and yet you know exactly what to do in that moment. You just get on with it and you perform at the best. It's when things just happen perfectly. Everything seems to align, everything falls into place and you just do the best you can in that moment. That is what high performance is. It comes in many forms. It is that you can use it in almost anything within your life. It's useful for. It is the difference between being ordinary and being extraordinary. I mean, why is it there are thousands and thousands of athletes on the planet who each have a very, very high level of physical ability, but only a very small fraction of those will ever get gold medals? And a lot of that is down to their ability to perform at their highest level consistently. So, in a minute, I'm going to give you something, a sort of a hack, a way to trick your brain and your body into performing at your best in the moment. So you get in the moment, so you can just let your experience and your talent come out. But before I do that, I just want to talk about the 3 things that I've found when working with athletes and other people who use high performance. The 3 things that I've found have been sort of the main parts of what makes their performance what it is. And those 3 things are focus, belief and flow. Now, focus. You need to have a high level of focus, and that is not like a laser closed down focus, which happens quite often when people are under stress. It's actually just a focus on whatever you need to in that moment. If you're on the football field, you need to be aware of the players on your team, the opponents, their abilities. You need to be aware of the conditions of the pitch, of your position in relation to other people. Whatever it is, you need to be aware of anything to do with that game only, and don't let any other distractions get in your way. If you're thinking about anything outside of that, it will affect your performance and it will be erratic. Belief. You need to have a rock solid belief in yourself and your abilities. You need to know that you can deliver, that what you do, your training and everything you've done up to this moment is going to come out when it needs to. If you don't have that rock solid belief, that self-doubt, a niggle of self-doubt can creep in at any time and completely ruin your performance. You see it all the time. They call it, they're often called the yips, particularly in golf, they call it the yips. When even though they know what to do, they've done it thousands of times, they're still not able to do it when it counts. They mess up and then they keep messing up because their brain is tripping them up all the time. They're over-analysing and over-analysing their own ability to deliver when it counts. So that's belief. And then flow. Flow is the place to be. It's when everything just clicks into place. That is when you are performing at your best. It is just when everything you've worked for so far just comes out of you. You're not over-analysing, you're barely thinking in that kind of conscious way. You're just focused and you're just delivering in that moment the best you can possibly be. That is flow. And the way I think of those 3 things are, it's kind of like a pyramid. So you've got focus at the top, you've got belief and focus underneath. They are the bedrock. Flow is at the top. The focus and belief hold up flow. So if you lose focus, then the flow collapses. If you lose belief, the flow collapses as well. So that's kind of how I think of it and how I've seen it play out. If you want to see a great example of this, it's if you look at elite tennis, elite men's tennis particularly, but elite tennis anyway. Particularly if you saw Wimbledon this year, you would have seen so many times these top players. They are 1 minute they're scoring point after point and they can't put a foot wrong. Then all of a sudden something happens, they lose something, either their focus or their belief in themselves just for that split second, and suddenly the other one gets the point. And then it's almost like a tide happens, and it's like they've been once that chink comes in, they lose that 1 point, they kind of lose, their performance goes completely, and it takes them a while to get that back. Now, because they are so good at what they do and they're so experienced, they are able, or at least the best ones, are able to then get that performance back. They can be behind massively and still be able to drive back and change that ability, to change their performance and get that high performance back. But you'll see it, it's almost like, it is like a wave coming in one way, going in the other. 1 minute one player's up, then the other one's up and the other's down. It is amazing. Elite tennis is a pressure cooker of performance and a perfect example of how focus and belief hold that flow. Because that flow is where they all want to be, and it keeps faltering for none of them seem to be able to hold it up for an entire match. For whatever reason, they overcomplicate it. The amount of physical energy they expend, there's many different reasons why. But yeah, if you want to see how this plays out, that is the perfect place. Now, I said to you I was going to give you a little sort of hack, a way of getting high performance out of yourself. And a way to do that is just to use your peripheral vision, to put yourself into peripheral vision. The reason this works is because, as I've said, when stress comes in, sometimes your focus seems to be like this. It becomes a very small focus, because your brain does that to kind of say, right, I've got to deal with this right now, so I've got to deal with this. The trouble is, especially when you want to flow, there's all this stuff going on out here that you're not aware of, you can't pay attention to unless you turn to look, and then you're missing all this. It's a very simplified way of explaining it, but that is why this works. And so peripheral vision, and when you do get yourself into peripheral vision, it actually changes the way the stress levels of your brain, it changes the way your brain is processing what's going on around you. So you want to open focus so you can pay attention to everything that's going on and you can react in the best way. It will help you get into flow much faster, especially with practice. Now, the way to do it, you may know already, but for those of you that don't, you look straight ahead, and you can be doing this standing, walking, sitting, doesn't matter. And what you do is you look straight ahead and you allow your field of vision to expand up here and down to the ground as far as possible. And then you allow your vision to expand out to the sides, so all the way to the left, my right, and all the way to the other side. So then you're encompassing everything in your peripheral vision, and a way to do it also is just to start talking about what you can see over there, and what you can see over there, and below and above. Just so in your mind you're deliberately paying attention to your periphery rather than the focal spot in front of you. At this point your eyes are relaxed, and then by doing this you create a relaxed space within yourself, and it enables you to flow better, because flow comes from a relaxed state. So create that relaxed state in whatever you're doing, and you will create the high performance state. And then if you do it repeatedly and you get good at it, it will become a trigger for it. So it does take practice, but it is very useful. So actually many of you will be able to go use this, get your results from it, and never need anything else. You'll just be able to keep building on that. If so, fantastic, go do that. I'd love to hear your success stories actually if you do that, so contact me, send me a message, give me a call. I'd just love to hear your experiences of that. Now, if you want to go deeper into high performance, if you want to get even more out of your own performance, and you want to have a more profound experience, if you want to continually keep building on it, then maybe it's time for a deeper conversation. If so, send me a message and let's set up a time when we can have a powerful conversation to get you performing at an even higher level.